Hi again, and welcome to Litter Media Live for June 13th of 2023 with the icon, Mike Smith. I'm Dan Ramey. Thank you so much for joining us today here on our Tuesday edition.
It's hard to believe that we're almost halfway through June already.
Happens every 2 weeks, you know.
It's nuts. It's just we're before you know, we'll be talking 4th of July and Labor Day and all that.
Pickaway County Fair starts this Saturday.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. Kids, I know you just got out of school, but it's almost back to school time.
Oh, they didn't want to hear that
Did
at all.
not want to hear that at all. Welcome to the program today. We've got a pretty day outdoors.
Yeah.
From what I've seen so far.
More comfortable weather, becoming cloudy today. There's a chance of rain this afternoon and in the overnight, and then we think that will probably wrap up by mid-morning tomorrow. Today's high about 71, 72 for tomorrow, and then warming up on Thursday with sunshine and a high of 79.
See a little precipitation on the radar map there over in Indiana right now, making its way towards northern Ohio. But so I guess if you're at Cedar Point today, you might get wet.
You might get wet.
Especially if you're on an actual water ride. It might be. Have you been on a water ride lately?
No, but we had our church event in Poland Park in the rain, and they had the slide inflatables. The kids didn't even care that it was raining, man. It became a water ride for them.
Yeah, we're going to get wet anyway, right?
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I was on one of the, like the log rides or whatever. I can't
probably
remember
Kings Island for me back in the, I don't know, 70s or early 80s was probably the last time.
We did the one of the Kings Island that has the round flotation device, and you're sitting there and you look at each other. Dan Jr. was, I think, 5 at the time, and he thought it was fun until he got wet.
Oh, yeah.
And then the rest of the ride was just...
Now, if you're counting It's a Small World at Disney World, that would have probably been in the 90s for me, yeah.
But those you don't get splashed.
No,
right?
We weren't splashed too much.
You just floated around.
You just got sick of hearing that same song over and over, yeah.
We're not going to sing that song because Disney will probably hit us for a copyright infringement.
Yeah.
Welcome to the program. We've got news, we've got sports, we've got this date in revolutionary history that we're going to share with you. Not really this date, but it's our revolutionary moment that we usually do on Tuesdays, thanks to the Daughters of the American Revolution for the information on that. So that's all just ahead here in just a bit, so stick with us. First, Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. They are on target for your needs. They always have been for more than 40 years, and they're your trusted comfort advisor. If you've got a need for heating, cooling, or plumbing, they can take care of it. Click on this ad anywhere you see it at littermedia.com. It will take you right to their website where you can learn more about the services of Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
It's the details that make the difference between good enough and simply the best. At Skag Power Equipment, the difference is in designing lawnmowers with your convenience and comfort in mind. At Skag, we believe that quality and substance matter, and that you'll appreciate the attention to detail and craftsmanship we put into every single product. Thick steel and heavy-duty components provide you with unmatched reliability and performance. Skag, simply the best.
Find a career you love with Pickaway Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
All right, let's get things started with news as we... You okay?
After that bulletin I gave you during the commercial, I think I'm getting sick myself,
Well, you mentioned it. You referenced it. May as well tell everybody what you just
learned.
The
AP just came out with a bulletin that the government now thinks that $400 billion, as in boy, $400 billion of COVID relief funds may have been stolen or fraudulently obtained.
Surprise, surprise, right?
Really. Now let's get to the better news.
Yes. What's making news today on littermedia.com?
Well, this came to us just before going on the air. Janet Kramer is the Roco Music Festival headliner for September 1st, and I thought that they had mentioned their last act, but I think maybe this might be the last one. She'll be on tap on September 1st, Little Texas, which was a big name a number of years ago, along with Jimmy Mowrey. there you see the rest of the schedule, which we've already shared that on our Facebook page from weeks in the past.
And, of course, this has been shared on our Facebook page now, so you can see all the lineup, and you can even learn more about Jana Kramer and her career. They've got a little bio of her on there. So they've got 3 acts each night, September 1st through Sunday, September 3rd.
And get your tickets. A friend of Litter Media's, in fact, we've had her on this program not too many months back. Pickaway County Board of Developmental Disabilities has announced that Marie Wilbanks will succeed Mike Pelchik as the superintendent in the year 2024. That'll be in January of 2024. After a comprehensive search, the Pickaway DD voted to approve Marie as the board's next superintendent following Mike's retirement on December 31st of this year. Wilbanks has worked for Pickaway DD for more than 17 years and has served as Director of Service and Support Administration, Medicaid, and Compliance for the past 12 years. A lot of people here in Ross County know Marie pretty well, too. So, in fact, I think she lives in Ross County, doesn't she?
Yeah, good gal.
Yeah.
So she's a former Corcoran.
That's correct. Couldn't tell that by looking at her. Yeah. Congratulations to her. Yesterday, we were talking with Dr. Shahid Khoury, the new clinical CEO of Adena Health System Emergency Department, talking about some exciting things that they're doing to make improvements in response time at the ER out there. So if you didn't get a chance to see that interview when it was loaded yesterday afternoon, you can go and find that at Litter Media YouTube. Scioto Lodge number 6, F&AM invites the public to attend their annual tenderloin and fish fry. That's at the Lions Shelter in Yoctangi Park in Chillicothe this Friday from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. And this is the event that they do each year that helps get money for their local scholarship fund that they give out to graduating seniors in the following spring. Juneteenth celebration will be this Sunday, that's the 18th, starting at noon at the Pump House Center for the Arts. There'll be many vendors inside, food trucks also available, outdoor under tent speakers at about 3 p.m. So the event starts at 3, but the tent speakers will get underway at about 3 p.m. this Sunday.
Of course, they've been celebrating Juneteenth all month long.
Yes, sir. And, of course, if you're not familiar with that, look it up. No, that's the day that the Civil War was, well, actually, it had already ended, but a lot of the freed slaves in Texas didn't know it until this coming date in 1865.
Which was June 19th.
Right.
So that's why they call it Juneteenth.
Very good, sir. And I think it's a federal holiday for many people on Monday. Yeah. The next Pike County, Ohio Means Job mobile van will be out for a mobile food pantry. That is tomorrow at Jackson Township Building on State Route 335 in Beaver. That'll be 10:30 tomorrow morning until 3 p.m. Then again, they'll be out with an event on June the 28th at 7777 U.S. Route 23 in Waverly from 1 to 4. Again, that vaccine clinic is the 28th, where the food pantry is tomorrow. The Highland County Health Department has 4 dumpster day events left for the year. Their next event is at Highland County Health Department on June 20th and 21st, or until the dumpster is full. And you can see the other sites, Rocky Fork on Holiday Way, Hillsboro, and also in Greenfield. These are events where they bring in these huge dumpsters. I don't know if they're using Scioto Valley dumpsters or not, but they should be. That's not orange, but it should be orange. Let's go paint it, shall we? And this is an opportunity for people in these communities that have items they need to get rid of to go to the dumpsters and put it in there. Not your regular trash, but, large item type scenarios there. Also, over in Fayette County, you can learn more about Fayette County history by joining Paul LaRue this coming Monday, June the 19th, for a walk in the old Washington Cemetery. The event gets underway at 6:30 p.m. It's free to the public. I've walked through that cemetery. It's a very fascinating cemetery to walk through. Like many others, a tremendous amount of history there, but you can hear Paul talk about that this coming Monday in Washington Courthouse. Join in on the 8th Annual Flag Day at Tomlinson Insurance Agency. That's coming up tomorrow to show appreciation to our veterans and, of course, gratitude for our country. Simply bring your old flag if you have one, and the Tomlinson Agency will replace it with a free new American flag. They'll be cooking out with menu items such as cheeseburgers, brats, hot dogs, and chips.
One more reason to stop by.
Oh yeah, Andy. I wonder if Andy's on the grill there. He'll be cooking it up.
He'll have the Kiss the Cook apron on, I'm sure.
I'm sure he'll love that. Tell him Dan and Mike sent you for a kiss. Pickaway County Ag Society Elections will hold its annual election on Monday, July the 10th, from 3 to 7 p.m. in the Ankrum Building, located in the Pickaway Ag and Event Center. Dan was just talking about the startup of the fair this weekend. This is obviously after the fair is over, and this will be for Fair Board members the following year.
All those positions, and of course they've got the opening ceremony Sunday night at 6:30, and that includes the annual cake and pie auction and the King and Queen contest as well.
Now, for some of you old-timers that remember for many years the opening night was Monday, well, last year they moved it up, and the official opening is Sunday, and that happened for the first time, I believe, last year.
I was thinking that they did that when they opened the new fairgrounds.
I think that we had a story last year that talked about that.
Okay.
Was the first year that they moved it up.
Okay.
Speaking,
I'm not saying you're wrong.
No.
I'm just saying I thought that's what it was.
If you haven't noticed with our topics, a lot of these things are happening this weekend. And another one is the parade route map has been posted this morning for the Kenworth Truck Parade this Saturday night. Runs starting at 8:45. It'll go till 10:30, 11 o'clock or so. I think it's going to finish this year with a concert. And all that is taking place. You can see the route. I was confused on this because of the way the arrows were pointing. Dan had to get my chair turned around because I knew the trucks were passing me in front of Majestic last year from left to right.
And he forgot that he was on the north side of the parade route looking south from what we're looking at here, which would mean the trucks are coming from your left to right.
To right. That's why I need a compass with me at all times. I get turned around, I can't remember. But we hope to see you out there. Dan and I will be out there, and Chris Scott will be there. Chris and I are doing the MC duties at the different tent locations.
The big blob on the top.
Now, wait a minute. Don't call Chris a big blob.
The other big blob on the bottom is Mike.
And Dan's the guy where the arrow is. Yeah. Will you make the circuit?
I did not make the entire circuit last year, but I was over where it all started, over on the left, where all the Yaktangi Parkway stuff is. That's where they line them all up, and then they come down. I walked that 3 times, and then walked the parade route all the way around, going down Water Street to Mulberry, back over to the Majestic. I cut between the Majestic and the other stage about 5 times, and then I went back against the grain with the parade, capturing more video, back to Water Street again. I must have walked 7 miles.
This is part of the Litter Media fitness plan.
This is why this year they're putting a golf cart in the budget for me.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't tell me that.
So
I was feeling sorry for you until you told me that.
Well, I'm still feeling sorry for myself.
Yeah. So if you're riding through the parade, do I have to announce your name?
No, because I'm not being a Kenworth truck.
Well, maybe they'll put a KW on the side of your golf cart at least, so you can be official in that way. So those are some of our topics. Our road report today, we're looking in Hocking County, State Route 56 resurfacing project, which is actually going to go through October the 12th. So if you're heading over in the area of State Route 56 between Big Pine Road and State Route 664, traffic is maintained with flaggers. But again, that project going on now will go through October the 12th. Sports is coming up.
All right, that's just ahead. I want to tell you about our friends at Scioto Valley Dumpsters. If you have a big cleanup job you're doing, you need a dumpster to put all that stuff in it. So I know that right now they're going through, people have couches sitting out front of their homes and things. But if you're doing more than that, you need a dumpster. So if it's for home, residential, or commercial at your business, 740-253-8888. 8389. They also offer demolition services as well, and some other things that they'll do too. Call that number and ask, what else can you do more than a dumpster? And they'll fill you in quickly as you fill up a dumpster, and then they'll haul it all away for you. Saginaw Valley Dumpsters, 740-253-8389. Sports on the way next.
You haven't had vodka soda like this. No one has. Made with the world's smoothest vodka plus real juice. New White Claw Vodka Soda.
At Rathkamp Financial, we believe in building client relationships for the long term, guiding you through the stages of wealth with a plan and bringing you closer to reaching your financial dreams. We believe in long-term relationships and working to earn your continued trust with our customized investment solutions.
For transportation options in Ross County, call Ross County Health District's Mobility Management Team, 740-779-9652.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
Let's get you caught up today on sports, and we've got a national player of the year.
How about that? Congratulations to New Hope Christian Academy senior forward Marin McAllister. She's been selected as the National Christian School Athletic Association Division III National Player of the Year. Obviously, she's on the All-American team, but she's the National Player of the Year. In fact, she was the only Ohio basketball player of the 3 divisions that were announced. This past season at New Hope, she averaged 23 points, 11 rebounds, and 3 assists per game. She averaged shooting 48% from the field and 83% from the free throw line. Now, she has a teammate, Jenna Tripp, that was named to the Northeast Super Regional team, but Marin was the lone athlete from New Hope on the All-America team and the National Player of the Year. More than 24 players from just the Southeast District have earned All-Ohio honors from the Ohio High School Fast Pitch Softball Coaches Association. You can see Divisions 1 through 4. Obviously, we run into the same problem with all the sports in the Southeast District for Division 1. There's just not that many schools, but you see Logan is represented, Michaela Spalding of Chillicothe, and then in D2, some kids from Circleville, Hillsboro, Logan Elm, Unioto, of course, state champ Wheelersburg, can't leave them out in Division 3, along with Adena and Zane Trace, and then over in Division 4, Notre Dame getting a lot of ink there. Congratulations to all of those kids, and you can find that list on our website at littermedia.com. By the way, for you folks over in Fairfield County, once we find out how the Central District came out, because the state association still has not released the entire list, we will be happy to add that once we find that information.
And then baseball's next?
No, that was last week. That's already on our website.
Okay.
Yeah, they're good about getting information out on time.
I'm just checking.
No, you got me started. Scioto Valley FCA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, announces their first youth sports camp called a Power Camp. That'll be held at Unioto High School, but it's open to all athletes from all districts in the area. This is for boys and girls entering 4th, 5th, and 6th grades and invited to 3-day camps July 19th through the 21st. Now, the boys' basketball camp will be 9 a.m. to noon each day, where the girls will go from 1 to 4. You see the QR code there, Dan? All you got to hold your phone up there. You can get all the registration information, but space is limited, so you want to get on that right now if you want to send your kids to that event.
And gives us something to do between July 19th and 21st.
Sure, in case you don't have anything else planned. Paints were off last night, but they are in action tonight, going to Lafayette to take on the Aviators. I really like that logo that the Aviators have, but they're playing out there tonight.
He flies softly but carries a big stick.
He does indeed. Probably one of the ugliest relief efforts that turned into a win in the history of baseball, turned in by this young man. I think he just got called up to the big team.
This was a major league debut last night. Comes in the 10th inning, has a runner on, and you're throwing baseballs out of the zone.
At players.
It was a Bull Durham experience.
Oh, it was something.
Kirk Casale did a great job.
He should have been the star of the game.
It should have been. But when the cowboy says at the end of the broadcast, "Whew, I need a drink," that's the kind of performance he gave. But they end up with the win.
Yeah, Buck Farmer actually came on in relief in the 9th. They had a one-run lead. He blew that lead. They go into the 10th, and this young man comes on in his first major league. I mean, he was throwing the ball everywhere. Yeah. But finally, they pull out a 5-4 win at Kansas City in 10 innings. Back at it again in KC tonight.
I just picture what it was. Crash Davis walked out and said, Hit the mascot.
Yeah, I just wonder if his nickname is going to be, because he was so wild, if it's going to be Wild Thing. Yeah,
maybe.
Guardians were off last night, but they're in action out on the left coast tonight in San Diego. That's a 9:40 start, and as we said, the Reds and KC, they're back at it tonight at 8:10. And the NBA Finals finally ended last night. I don't know that anybody was watching this since L.A. or Boston didn't get in, but Denver winning their first ever NBA championship. They won it 4-1 over the Miami Heat.
Denver won something.
Yeah.
First time in their franchise history.
That's what I understand.
And I didn't even know it was going on until I got a bulletin on my phone.
Same here. I was trying to get the Reds through that, and I found out that they won, so we thought we better throw it in there.
Now let's switch gears to football, and this is the winning new logo for the Cleveland Browns. He looks mean, he looks dirty, and he's coming after you.
I mean, is this going to be on the helmets?
No. This is just Remember a few years ago they had the football with the B in the middle and the brown and orange stripe. That's what they were going for here. An alternative logo they can use with some of their other branding. And they had another one that, and I'd like to show it to you now, but I didn't prepare it. But it was a little happier looking. And the fans and players selected this one because they said it best described how they plan to play this year.
Oh, okay.
Big, mean, and dirty. So watch out.
That. Very good.
You bet.
All right.
During the Reds game last night, did you see the guy wearing the Bengals jersey behind home plate?
I did.
Going nuts?
He was furious at some of the looked like when Buck Farmer had some game-ending strikes that the umpire called balls. Yeah.
And the people that were sitting behind him eventually moved, and he was standing up during the whole thing. He was none of this edge of your seat stuff.
Yeah.
He was standing up and he was waving his arms while the Kansas City pitchers were throwing pitches and stuff.
Now I think before the game, they were honoring the Chiefs players.
Yes.
Which, are they trying to rub it in with the Cincinnati in town?
I don't know. Maybe. Travis Kelce threw out the first pitch, which he did, I think, at a Guardians game, and it was completely wild. Ooh. It looked like the kid that was pitching last night.
Is that right?
Yeah.
He's got a career in baseball then, yeah.
All right. That's a look at sports. Coming up, a look back at the Revolutionary War, thanks to the ladies from DAR. That's the daughters of the American Revolution. Yes. That's coming up in just a moment. I want to tell you, tomorrow is open interview day for McDonald's. You see McDonald's showing up in the corner of our screen there. When you are looking for work, they're looking for you. They're looking to add to the McDonald's crew. And if you fit the bill, they want to know. So stop in and see them. That's 2 until 5 every Wednesday at Chillicothe, Circleville, Greenfield, and the 4 locations here in, where are we? Chillicothe.
Chillicothe.
Yes. I'm sorry, I was distracted. A train's going by. Yeah. McDonald's.
I'm loving it.
All right, coming up in just a moment.
Revolutionary War Minute.
The Revolutionary War
Minute.
Got
2 for you today.
2.
2
for Tuesday.
2 for Tuesday.
It's coming up.
Budweiser beer, the king is second to none.
Who drinks Budweiser? You know the type. The people who grind. Those who don't back down. And the ones who don't quit. They say all people are 6 degrees of separation away from each other. But some are just a 6-pack away. The people who share the same spirit, share the same beer. this bud's for you.
Whenever I first applied for the ArchWiz opportunity, oh, do I have to pay this back? Do I have to do that? Like, is it a loan? And it's not. It's a scholarship. A goal of mine is to graduate college debt-free. If you're a crew member, you get $2,500 a year, and if you're a manager, you get $3,000. And especially if you're going locally to college, like to the branch or something like that, it's really helpful.
At Rathkamp Financial, we provide wealth management services that may ease clients' fears of financial loss and help them retire comfortably. Our greatest satisfaction comes from working with clients for many years and helping them realize their dreams.
Revolutionary moment.
Yeah, got
Not one, but two.
About two personalities that are pretty well known. When I mention these names, you're going to say,
Dan and Mike.
Yeah, well, no, we weren't that back then. Sam Adams was often chosen to be the spokesperson for the rebellious colonists, even though he usually wasn't the leader or at the top of the chain of command. He was not very attractive. I don't know. What do you think, Dan? And had a weak voice, but was said to move audiences by sheer intelligence and passion. Despite his unglamorous disposition, after the Boston Tea Party, the city celebrated him as a hero, and Thomas Jefferson called him truly the man of the Revolution.
He's doing something quite manly, pointing at parchment.
Yeah, and he's got a brew named after him now. Also, John Paul Jones was born John Paul on July 6th of 1747 in Scotland. He went to sea as a youth, was a merchant shipmaster by the age of 21, and served as commander of several British merchant ships. Well, in 1773, John Paul was caught in a precarious situation as he murdered a mutinous sailor on the island of Tobago, which he claimed was in self-defense. Paul, believing that he wouldn't get a fair trial, fled to North America and added the last name Jones to conceal his identity. Of course, he becomes an American Revolutionary War hero with the newly formed United States Navy. It was December 3rd of 1775 that John Paul Jones became the first to hoist the U.S. flag over an American warship. He is considered the father of the American Navy. And thanks again to the DAR Nathaniel Massey chapter for LaVersa Moats. God bless you, lady, for passing these tidbits to us.
Radio moment. I'm taking a look. We didn't mention the young man's name because I couldn't remember what it was. Ricky Karcher was the name of the pitcher.
You'd think he'd be infamous after last night.
Well, he is, because in this post I'm seeing that he has 1 save, 1 holy and 7 don't knows in his post-game interview with Jim Day.
He was just tongue-tied. He didn't know what to say.
He didn't know where he was, and I liked the shot they showed of the dugout, and the guys were all lined up and just watching the interview. I've seen that happen with some of our interviews. And
which is hard for someone who's not been interviewed much.
Right.
Having all these people staring at you, probably making faces and laughing and cutting up and all that stuff.
Which leads us to famous post-game interviews during our radio days. One that I will never, ever in my life ever forget was not a post-game interview, but a halftime interview. And I was on the sideline working for you and BJ with Paint Valley playing against Amanda Clear Creek at Lancaster High School in the playoffs. And Gary Newsom is walking off. Amanda had just scored before halftime. And Mike, in my ear, I'm hearing him in the broadcast say, well, Gary can't be very happy about that play just before. And let's go down and see what Gary Newsom has to say. And Coach Newsom's walking, and I'm approaching him. The team is behind him. They're all walking through the end zone, going to the locker room, and he says, "Don't put that in my face right now," and walked right past. And I said, well, Apparently, he has nothing to say, Mike.
Oh yeah, he was not unhappy with Dan. He was unhappy with that they were getting thumped.
I was literally, and I've known Gary for 40 years probably. I was kind of anxious about talking to him in the post game, and he was a completely different guy afterwards. And of course, he would later work at CHS and Chillicothe as the athletic director for a while, and he's mellowed out. But that moment, he was pretty hot.
Yeah, one of my scary interview moments came. I think there was some kind of a club. I was thinking Kiwanis, but I'm not sure it was. Woody Hayes was supposed to come and talk at Chillicothe High School to whatever this group was. Well, I couldn't stay for the meeting, but I wanted to try to catch Coach Hayes on the way in. Well, he was running a little behind, and everybody knows the reputation that Woody had with the media if you crossed him. And I'm sitting there sweating bullets thinking he's going to punch me if I ask the wrong thing. And this is right after the first problem that Art Schleister had where he was arrested for the gambling and all that. So Coach Hayes comes into the lobby, and I introduced myself, and I said, Coach, I'd just like to get a brief interview. And he looked at me, and he said, I don't want to talk about Art. And I said, no, Coach, I want to talk about you. For the next 5 minutes or 10 minutes, he was running late as it was. He loosened up, and he was one of the best interviews I ever had. He just didn't want you to try to do one of those gotcha things, which that was not my intent. But once he knew I wasn't out to put him on the spot, he got to talking about all the great athletes that came out of our area, Vic Stottlemyre and Mr. Thompson, Ed, that was at Waverly, that went on to play for Ohio State, and so many others. But it turned out what was very scary at the beginning turned into a very delightful interview with the late Woody Hayes.
The best interview I think I ever conducted in my entire life, my entire career, the whole deal, was one that no one heard.
That's great.
Because I had forgot to lift the pause button off the cassette machine. Yeah. We were headed to Worthington, if I'm not mistaken, for a Chillicothe-Worthington game. We stopped at the old Buckeye Hall of Fame Cafe, and that's where we had our pregame meal. And Randy Davies was our sideline reporter at the time, Pat Hyland and I, and the broadcast crew. And there they were doing a show on WBNS FM, I believe, at the time. And so there's Jim Carsados there, and Jim Lachey are there. And I walked up, I said, hey, could I do an interview with you guys? And Jim Lachey says, sure, no problem. So we do this interview. We're going to use it halftime during the game. And I came back to the table. I said, after saying thank you, I said, man, that was the best interview I think I've ever been a part of. And so we're on our way to the game site after this point. And Randy says, I'd like to hear that interview. Well, grab the cassette recorder's in the case back there. And he pulls it up and he says, Dan? I said, yeah. He says, I don't think we're going to hear anything. I said, what do you mean? The play and record buttons on the recorder were pushed down along with the pause button. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. So we didn't. That was our halftime interview. It was
dead air.
Dan's mishap with the recorder. And every once in a while, I'll use that as a joke now.
Right.
I'll finish with someone who was kind of anxious about doing an interview. And I said, okay, now let me hit record, and we'll go on from there.
Right.
I actually had to do that to Cindy Hauserman one time.
Oh, golly. Yeah.
The Lady Cavaliers had been beaten by, I can't remember who they played. Marietta, I think. They were playing at Crooksville for some reason. And so I rode the bus with the girls over.
Oh, boy.
So we're on the bus. Cindy Hauserman's 6'5", and she's probably wearing heels, so that makes her even taller. And she didn't really want to do the interview anyway. And I said, that's fine, I understand, but we got to talk about it. We do a daily show. We may as well. So we get done with it, and I look down, and I forgot to take pause
You were
off.
about to ask her again, yeah.
And I looked at her and I said, Cindy, I am so sorry. And she said, I'm going to kill you. But then she was very cordial and decided to go ahead and do the rest of the interview. But I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm looking up at her, apologizing. So thank you, Cindy, for doing that and not killing me.
Thanks. Yeah.
A lot of things we have occurred, we have accrued occurrences that have happened in our broadcasting career. So, all right, coming up tomorrow, I'm taking tomorrow off. I've got a special assignment with my wife I have to take care of.
Anyway, we have a special edition. And it's not of Dan and his wife.
She has a doctor's appointment in Columbus I have to take her to.
Greg Bigham and Tommy Davis of the Pickaway County Park District will join us at 10 o'clock for a Pickaway County special edition at 10 tomorrow morning.
Well, I'll have my special edition.
You can tell us about that on Thursday, Dan.
Yeah. But then you'll also have the regular program.
Exactly.
At 11 o'clock. All right.
Unless Facebook does what it did yesterday. The whole Facebook world, I guess, couldn't do live video
there was a window where we couldn't yesterday. So, all right. That's it for the program today. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Mike will see you tomorrow here with another edition of Litter Media Live. Thanks so much for watching.